We didn't expect Laurel to, there was a chance she wouldn't make it to birth, and then if she did, the chance of surviving for, maybe a few hours after. We was really fortunate to have continuity of carer with our consultant, and every weekly or more appointment we got to see her, and I feel that this was a huge benefit to our experience. We always knew we wouldn't get to see her, we wouldn't get to hold her, she probably wouldn't cry, she'd be ventilated straight away. So I felt because we had that time we could prepare ourselves for that moment. One of the first things that was brilliant was the offer of Chestnut House, so the on-site accommodation for parents. I remember thinking further on the line down Laurel's journey that if we had to go home, well, I just wouldn't. I would sleep in the car park because I just couldn't imagine that thought of being away from her. Being involved, so involved in decision making, involved in ward rounds. I always felt that I was asked how I felt Laurel was doing, was there anything I wanted to talk about, how fortunate we were at Addenbrooke's to have the allied health professionals and the psychological support on the unit. So like the speech and language therapists were amazing with us. The occupational therapist and the play therapist at the time, I remember we sort of co-produced a developmental plan because Laurel was full term. One of the sisters, Sarah, it was a month since Laurel had been born and we hadn't been able to hold her yet, and the surgical team still wasn't sure, but she worked with them and worked with us to make a way that we could give Laurel a cuddle, so that was really important. Something what a lot of parents say, and some people find it hard to understand, is that you really miss the unit once you're home, and can really feel isolated as well, and especially go into your sort of other parent and baby groups. And I think one of the things with NICU, I'm really aware that we had a positive and received a really high standard of care throughout, I feel. And also our journeys definitely not as traumatic as other people's, and I'm aware that not everyone feels that way about their NICU experience and receives that care. Laurel's great now, so they usually operate within about 24 to 48 hours with an exomphalus after birth, but Laurel didn't have her operation until she was 3, and she went for her closure surgery actually in King's in London. Handing her over for that surgery was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, way harder than the whole NICU stay. And now, yes, a year later, she just started school full time, doing amazing. We still come back here to see her neurosurgeon every 6 months who just monitors her spine. For us, one of the main things was in maternity services. When we got the diagnosis, there was just no psychological support with that. So you're given this diagnosis and actually it felt like at every appointment there was something else added on. So we're very fortunate to have Rosie Maternity Voices at the Rosie Hospital, and it's about bringing us all together to try and improve maternity and neonatal services at the Rosie. Our main aim is to act upon sort of the common themes of feedback that we're hearing. So one of the great things about bringing together staff and service users is that given that service user perspective, which sometimes as staff, although you work in that service day in, day out, it's just more difficult to understand if you haven't been in the parent side. So for example, communication is always one area that something, and this is again what we try and highlight, that sometimes it doesn't need a huge amount of funding or resource or staffing to make a change.